It's Tuesday morning, 1999. You take the bus to school, you sit alone, you go to homeroom and sit at your assigned desk alone. You stand up, and you put your hand where you think your heart is, and you pledge your allegiance. You sit back down, and a police officer enters the classroom, introducing themselves as an officer of something else entirely, justifying their presence by exposing you to new fears that you will hold for the rest of your life. Truth or dare? Police resistance education. The DARE program was created by Darrell F. Gates, who was the police for 44 years. Born in 1926 as Darrell F. Gates, he later changed his name from Darrell to Daryl. One less letter for him to remember. In 1949, after the war, he enlisted in the Los Angeles Police Department, where aside from DARE, he also created the Special Weapons Attack Team. The acronym SWAT now stands for Special Weapons and Tactics, but most of their tactics are still just attacking people in teams. He also created the Public Disorder and Intelligence Division, PDID, no relation to PUF, but similar in nature. Under Darrell's orders, the LAPD worked tirelessly to infiltrate, spy on, and discredit hundreds of non-profit organizations, student activist groups, and labor unions. Everyone from the Black Panthers to the office of the district attorney were under his eye. That one no longer exists because of several class action lawsuits with multi-million-dollar settlements. It was disbanded in 1983. DARE was banded in 1983. Darrell's final creation was Community Resources Against Street Hoodlums, which was in part the inspiration for the film of the same name, and the entire focus of the film Rampart, and the film Training Day, and the film Colors, and the film Gang Related, and the television show The Wire, and the video game Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and the entire ideology of the Thin Blue Line. Crash is also dissolved and defunct. A boon at the box office, but responsible for just as much in taxpayer dollars. Of his life's work, only DARE and SWAT are yet to be destroyed. Acronyms were Darrell Gates' one true love. I love acronyms too. I love different acronyms. His other earlier failures include being the lead investigator in charge of solving the Zodiac murders, the other Kennedy assassination, the murder of Marilyn Monroe, and several other unsolved mysteries. Without his leadership, we probably wouldn't have that show either. Darrell F. Gates was also mentioned by name in music by both of the Ices. Body Count's Cop Killer was inspired by and dedicated to Darrell F. Gates. He was the cop that Ice-T wanted to kill, specifically, and the entire final verse of Ice Cube's The Wrong N-Word to F With is an ode to him as well. Don't let me catch Darrell Gates in traffic. I gotta have it. Peel his cap backwards. Hope he wear a vest too, in his best blue. Going up like a Zulu. Break his spine like a jellyfish. Kick his A-word till I'm smelling S-word. Off with the head, I say, and watch the devil start kicking. Run around like a chicken. Grand dragon finger licking. Turn him over with a spatula. Now we got Kentucky Fried Cracker. Because when you mess with the cube, you get punch click pig. Because I am the wrong N-word to F with. But not even early 90s gangster rap lyrics can compare to Darrell F. Gates' most famous quotes. I'm not repeating those. Nah. When it came to law enforcement, Darrell F. Gates cared less about law and more about enforcement. His entire career was built around destroying communities, and his greatest achievement to that end was DARE, imposing his ideology to the most impressionable, indoctrination through the guise of protection and service, inflating his importance to that of parents and school. normalizing police presence and submission to their authority. DARE is more than just 4 letters. There is a 5th letter. If you look, it's Drug Abuse Resistance Education Copyright. DARE. DARE is a brand owned by an organization that used to actually brand people. But thanks to millennials, it's making a comeback. We did it. Propaganda and capitalism go hand in hand, interlaced over your head. And Daryl F. Gates was the king of both. Fully goated, he didn't just back the blue, he built it. A wolf in wolf's clothing, Gatesy Boy and his officers consulted on several cop shows. Being very LA, he cameos as himself in the Emmy-nominated police procedural Hunter, with a speaking role in Season 5, Episode 11, City Under Siege: Part 1.
Howdy.
In which a high school is overwhelmed by crime and the vice principal is complicit in several felonies with his students. He puts the vice in vice principal.
After hours, young blood.
He's an actual S-word offender.
Her father never gave her so much as a second of his time.
Gates' second appearance is in Season 7, Episode 13, Fatal Obsession: Part 2.
I'm getting tired of losing good officers this way.
In which a university is overwhelmed by crime and an English professor is complicit in several felonies with his students. He puts the English in English professor.
Heart of Darkness.
He killed a girl after his 4th DWI.
It was just a faculty party.
In both episodes, good cops get shot dead by femme fatales. That's why they're the good kind. Starring a maverick who's not afraid of his own hairline, he bends the rules and takes justice in his own hands. Sergeant Dick Hunter was made in Daryl's own image. His partner is a younger woman who is replaced every other year. The only character of color in the main cast is the streetwise snitch named Sporty James, played by the late Garrett Morris. He just needed that check. Almost every episode ends by blatantly glorifying the obstruction of due process. City Under Siege: Part 3 ends with Hunter firing his service weapon and cutting to an out-of-context police statistic, referencing Operation Hammer, where Daryl F. Gates put the pro in racial profiling. Hunter didn't age well, but it was already ugly at birth. It topped the ratings until a more realistic take on the LAPD hit the airwaves. Daryl F. Gates was the chief of the Los Angeles Police Department from 1978 until 1992. He retired in 1992 because he was the chief of the Los Angeles Police Department in 1992. When the riots broke out, Daryl was at a political gala fighting against police chief term limits. After 4 decades in law enforcement, Daryl F. Gates made the natural transition to video game development. His first foray in interactive media was in 1993 with Daryl F. Gates' Police Quest: Open Season.
Man, this be my hood. I be Raymond Jones III.
A game only remembered for its stereotypical portrayal of every marginalized group.
You big cop, bring big trouble.
Daryl F. Gates is why marginalized groups are marginalized.
Yo, I be fly today.
Daryl F. Gates is the grandfather of gamer culture, and like many grandfathers, he is thankfully dead now. But Dare lives on. Why? The war on drugs was fought under the pretense of preserving an idealistic interpretation of innocence, protecting the kids. But like this video, the war on drugs was never really about drugs. Drug abuse, resistance, education. 3 things that Daryl hated most. If the war on drugs was an actual war, then Daryl F. Gates was a war criminal. Behind the megalomaniacal media horde, Daryl F. Gates may have been the greatest monster that California has ever seen.
If it happened in LA, you can pretty much guarantee I was there.
Who knows who Daryl F. Gates really was, but taking a propagander at the propaganda past his penchant for escalation techniques, that influence is still seen today, and the current leadership of DARE isn't much better. DARE still exists. The police are more than willing to enter a school when there's no actual danger present because that's their job, to create the narratives of fear. Because if you can control fear, you can control the fearful. And that's what I remember of DARE, feeling afraid. That's what's ingrained within me. I'm very brainy now. So yeah, don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. I don't do drugs. I don't anymore. Try to avoid involving yourself in any addictive activities, or else that's all that you'll ever do.